Coming up next, a dog trainer is attacked by skateboarders in Balboa Park. Tonight, San Diego police need your help.
A recent audit of San Diego's brush management on city-owned property has revealed lack of coordination and inconsistent fire risk mitigation.
Concerns over a proposed safe parking lot for people experiencing homelessness at a library.
It's been 3 weeks of hot temperatures across the county, and now we have thunderstorms to talk about. Details ahead.
Okay, so we all know it's hot, but how are we keeping cool at the zoo?
And meet the 2 megawatt superstars, Naomi and Zurin from Tina.
The Tina Turner Musical.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
San Diego police are asking for your help tonight to identify 2 skateboarders who appear to be teenagers wanted for assaulting a man last month in Balboa Park. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Crime Stoppers released images of the 2 suspects earlier today, and a reward is now being offered. CBS 8's David Goffredson reports the men are accused of hitting the victim over the head with their skateboards.
More than 100 skateboarders were part of the melee in Balboa Park last month as part of Go Skateboarding Day on June 21st. Spray paint artist William Dorset shot this video and posted it on YouTube.
I just felt like something exciting was happening. They were cheering each other on. It got out of hand real quick.
San Diego police are trying to identify 2 skateboarders in the group, both of them about 18 years old. Take a look at these pictures. The first has curly blonde and brown hair, a silver nose ring, and a large black ink tattoo on his left hand. The second has curly blonde hair and was wearing a light-colored beanie. Both are accused of hitting a man over the head with their skateboards after getting into an argument with him. The victim was training a dog at the time of the attack. Both men are facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon.
He did get hit in the face quite a bit, and he falls to the ground and smacks his head and goes unconscious for a few minutes.
My colleague Anna Laurel interviewed a witness to the attack a few days after it happened.
I was shocked and I was angry. I was angry that this was happening in my park, in our park, in the crown jewel of San Diego.
Crime Stoppers is offering up to a $1,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of the suspects. You can remain anonymous and still be eligible for reward money. David Goffredson, CBS 8.
All right, David, thank you. Now, we checked with San Diego police. They say the victim of that attack is out of the hospital now and on the mend.
And this heat wave, it continues. We just can't say it enough. Drink plenty of water. Don't overexert yourself outside. It's also important check in on your neighbors, especially the elderly.
It has been a really long stretch. Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis is here now with what's happening outside, which includes the potential for some thunderstorms. Carlene, was that going to cool things down?
It will cool some things down, and then also high pressure backing off. So there is some sort of relief from this heat, but we have to wait a few days before we get to that point.
All right.
We're still dealing with the heat out there. We're also seeing a shallow marine layer. We got the cloud cover right along the coast, and that's going to be the case, and well, has been for the past couple of weeks. So still talking about that marine layer just really favoring the immediate coast. We still have to deal with the heat for the next few days. So the excessive heat warning will continue now all the way through Saturday night. That's across the desert with highs between 112 to 113. A heat advisory is still in effect and been extended to Saturday as well. That's for the mountains as well as for the inland valleys, and that's all the way until Saturday evening, 7 p.m. for the inland valleys and the mountains at 8 p.m. So still talking about those 90s as well as 100s. Now, this is the look from Mount Laguna. So we are talking about some clouds out there. We started to see a little bit more cloud cover and a little bit of a vertical lift across the mountains earlier today, but we just don't have enough of that monsoonal moisture to really see any activity popping up on that satellite radar. But it's going to be a different story by this weekend. We are looking at those chances and how long they will stick around. Details coming up. Carlo.
Thank you, Carlene. And a wildfire that we're following just across the border in Tecate. According to CAL FIRE, the Border 20 fire is growing. A full response is being sent to help other crews. The fire is about 150 yards south of the U.S.-Mexico border, but it has been deemed a threat by Fire Command here. At last check, 458 acres have burned.
The heat is making headlines all across the country and right here in San Diego.
As we all suffer through the heat together, we wondered how our animal friends at the San Diego Zoo are keeping cool.
We sent CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes out to check it out.
Okay, so it is my first time at the San Diego Zoo, and all I gotta say is, wow, I love this place. So we know that lions and giraffes, they're used to warmer climates. But what about the polar bears and the penguins? And how do the human animals that visit the zoo stay cool? Check this out.
Play in the water, drink some water, whatever we can do.
Stephanie and baby girl Rui are loving their visit to the San Diego Zoo despite the heat.
We are visiting from Seattle, where it is not this hot. There's a lot more trees, much more shaded, it's a little more gray. I think we feel hotter than everyone else because we're not built for this heat.
The San Diego Zoo and the San Diego Zoo Safari Park take care of a lot of animals every single day, no matter what the weather is or where they're from. During warmer months, animals have misters, cool water, pools, shade, and sometimes even AC. A lot of animals who come from warmer climates use their natural behaviors just to stay cool in the heat. For example, you'll see elephants and rhinos rolling in the mud. As for those polar bears, they're chilling out on ice, and penguins, they splash around in their chilled pools. But what about the human animals that come to the zoo?
How are you keeping cool in all of this heat?
The splash pad at the end of the zoo.
When we were kids, we got to go out and play in the streams, and we got wet, and we splashed in puddles. Well, they get to come here in the safety of the San Diego Zoo. They learn about wildlife, but they also get to get out and explore and play right alongside the wildlife.
Nikki Boyd works for the San Diego Zoo. She says the new splash pad in the base camp is the best way to stay cool and still enjoy.
It was built around parallel play. So the base camp area here, you'll get to see squirrel monkeys climbing in their own oak tree, and then the kids get to climb in a tree.
From the beautiful butterflies to the swimming turtles and the mighty ants, everyone is looking for a way to cool off.
And like the old song says, you belong at the zoo. I do too, obviously.
They all have a little bit of water play. We have some cool buildings too. People can get in and get cooled off.
Because even in all this heat, you still belong at the zoo, and the zoo belongs to you. Kirsten Holmes, CBS 8.
How fun that Kirsten got to spend her first day at the zoo doing that story.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun getting close like that. Special treatment. I'm jealous.
And the animals staying cool.
Yeah.
A proposed safe parking lot for unsheltered people in Southeast San Diego has some families concerned about its proximity to kids.
Last month, the city released a list of potential sites to expand its safe parking program for people experiencing homelessness.
CBS 8's Abby Black is live in Emerald Hills tonight to share neighbors' concerns and the city's response. Abby?
Marcella and Carlo, there are about 120 parking spots available here for people to sleep overnight. That's not so much the problem. Families are concerned about where it's located. We're here in the parking lot of the Malcolm X Library, and it's next to a school. Families say that there's already another safe parking lot down the street, and they don't need another one in their neighborhood. The thought of having another safe parking lot for unsheltered people in Southeast San Diego has this grandfather worried.
Tragedy. You can't put bad on top of bad and expect good things to happen.
The proposed safe parking site, which would be for overnight use only, is at the Malcolm X Library in Emerald Hills. Deacon Perry Owens is also concerned about it being next to an elementary school and a county live well site.
We have kids that frequent this library. We have kids, we have the elderly.
Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp, who also represents District 4, where the city proposed one of the safe parking sites, echoes the deacon's concerns.
We have a community that is very engaged and involved and wants to bring solutions to the table around homelessness. This should not be one of them.
As part of the mayor's plan to address homelessness, the city has opened 4 safe parking lots, which allow people to safely sleep in their car overnight. In June, the Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department proposed 9 safe parking sites. 3 are in District 4. One is also at a library in Skyline Hills. Another proposal is to expand the Dreams of Change safe parking lot on Imperial, which is state funded and has a waiting list. But it's also a mile away from the Malcolm X Library. Neighbors and the Pro Tem raised concerns then and continue today.
And Dreams for Change does really good work. This is not the solution.
We reached out to the city for a comment. In a statement, a spokesperson says in part there will be security on site, and city-funded shelter, outreach, and safe parking programs have been successful in placing individuals into permanent housing. Nearly 1,000 people were helped as part of the safe parking program in fiscal year 2023. The deacon says his church does help the homeless, and he hopes other communities will also help thy neighbor.
Let's all do our parts as cities to help this homeless issue go away.
The city says that it plans to open this safe parking site here at the Malcolm X Library parking lot by the end of the summer. It can cost up to $920,000. Marcella?
Abby, we've heard similar pushback when safe parking lots are proposed, but do they end up being a problem?
Marcella, I spoke to Michael McConnell. He's an advocate for unsheltered people, and he says most of the time communities don't like these locations anywhere they're at. He says a lot of the times those concerns never really play out, but he says that he does understand the concerns about clustering these safe parking lots in one area, but he says that they are needed and that there's not enough shelter beds, so people need to be able to legally and safely sleep in their car overnight. He also mentions that many people who are unsheltered use the library as a resource, so this is a convenient location for them.
All right,
Marcella.
The discussion over solutions on helping unsheltered people continues. Thanks so much for that update.
Thanks, Abby. Okay, a warning to stay hydrated and to avoid overexerting yourself during this heat wave, even if you spend a lot of time outdoors and think you can handle it.
We are learning more tonight about an elderly hiker who went missing from his senior living center and was later found dead on a trail near Lake Hodges. We're told the man was in his 80s and went missing yesterday morning when he went for his usual walk. It was part of his daily routine right across from his retirement community. He was found later that day on a trail when his wife reported that he didn't come back, but by then it was too late.
A 29-year-old San Diego man faces felony DUI and vehicular manslaughter charges after a deadly wrong-way crash near the San Ysidro border. It happened yesterday just before noon on the 805. CHP says the driver of an Audi was headed into Mexico and made a U-turn, headed northbound in southbound lanes and crashed head-on into a blue van. The driver of that van was killed. Fernando Gonortiz is hospitalized with injuries suffered in that crash. He will be booked when he's released. Still ahead tonight, former President Donald Trump is facing new criminal charges.
Plus, our neighbors to the east are cleaning up from a devastating monsoon that ripped apart homes.
Consumer advocates want federal safety standards for e-bikes and scooters given a surge in battery fires. I'm Natalie Brand with what you need to know to stay safe.